me ability to share.
Yes, I have started recording.
Could you just give me the ability to share my screen?
All right.
Good afternoon. Welcome. Just waiting for a few people to join. Happy Freedom Day in Melbourne. I'm sure you're all excited. So while we're waiting for a few people to join us, I'd just like to do an acknowledgement. So I'm in Sydney, Manly today, so I'd like to acknowledge the Garamagal people of the Eora Nation and pay my respects to the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet and their elders past, present and future. I cannot see if Rochelle is joining us. Eliza, do you know if Rochelle is joining?
I'll just pop her a note and find out. Won't be a second.
No worries.
Oscar, for some reason, I'm not able to give you the rights.
It's all good. It's all good, Rahul. It was for the acknowledgement. It's all good. So what we're going to do today is just take you through the monitoring side from a manager's point of view, so that you understand how to see, for instance, who's activated, who's using it, and also, more importantly, see the analytics behind that usage and see the kind of actions that you can take from those analytics. So Rahul's going to take you through the session today. Thank you, Rahul. I will pass it over to you, and fire away if you want to share your screen.
Thank you. Thanks, Oscar, and hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining in. I know it's late Friday, but again, anyways, thanks for joining in, making out time and joining in. So what I'll do is I will, in the next half an hour, 45 minutes, I will, so now most of you are kind of familiar with RapL now, the user part of how the user part of the thing works, how the learning mechanism works. What I'm going to take you through is how you as a manager will be able to monitor the progress of the learning journey of your team members going forward. Right. So now there are two parts to it. There is the mobile monitoring view and there is the web browser monitoring view. So let me quickly share my screen. First, what I'll do is
sorry, guys, I'll get it up. Please.
So, Rahul, before we jump into this, can I just ask if there's any general feedback from the group in terms of how it's going with their staff, what the sentiment is on the ground? I know that obviously a lot of of your stores are reopening today, but for those who have been at work, has there been any feedback on the program of work, on the learning, and what has that feedback been so far? Maybe Alex, not sure if you've heard anything from your staff.
Which Alex? Am I the only Alex?
I think you're the only Alex, but that's you were who I was looking at. Yeah.
No, look, to be honest, Oscar, I haven't had a real sort of good opportunities to have a bit of a play around. So unfortunately, yeah, haven't really got much feedback other than going in, logging on, looking at it. That's about it. Sorry.
Has anyone in retail had any feedback from anyone on their team at all, or as managers going in and having a look, anything that you've found from the content at all, if you've had the chance?
In Adelaide, everybody says it's very easy to use, very quick, which is good. I mean, that works better for us because we don't have a lot of time to take people off the floor, so we can do it really, really quickly. That is the best situation for us.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well,
I got a question. Is there any way to link it up to Tanda so we only get notifications when we're on a shift?
link it to what? Sorry.
Sorry, to our rostering system at all?
Sorry, Oscar, let me just add on to what Parker's saying. And I have had some feedback like this, is that many team members who are not on shift, so they're not rostered on, they're actually at home, are getting notifications to complete a module or whatever it may be on their days off or when they're not rostered to work. So Parker, the answer is no, it can't connect to Tanda. I know that for a fact it wouldn't be able to connect to Tanda, but it's maybe something we can take separate to this to figure out what the right way is from there.
Yeah. Look, happy to have a offline discussion with you, Mark and Eliza. Obviously, you can set up groups to get around that, but we'd obviously need to know the shift times and when you need notifications, etc., etc. So happy to look into that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I will hand back to Rahul.
All right, thanks, Oscar, and thanks for those feedback. So I'll just proceed on with the how the monitoring part happens for RapL. I believe by now all of you are familiar with RapL to a certain extent, and you know how RapL works. So this particular part, what we will be covering for this particular session, would be two aspects of monitoring. One is the monitoring part, which can be done through your mobile access itself. Where you can actually view to a certain extent of the activation and the usage part of your team members on how they're doing about how they're going about RapL, and the details will be reflected. If you want to dig into the further details on what exactly who are these people who are doing good, who are those people who are not doing good, which are the areas they're facing problems in, which are the areas they're doing good in. All those will be covered on the web browser access, which I'm going to shortly tell you. All right, so just moving ahead, I'll switch between this particular deck and also the web browser in between, as and when needed. So going forward, so I believe if you have already seen the mobile app, the monitoring application. So for all the managers who have a monitoring view, so for the learners, there is only the learners view, whereas for the monitoring or the managers, there are two views. There's a monitoring view and there is a learners view. So when you click on monitoring view, it comes something like this, right? So you have your activation section at the top and you have your usage section at the bottom. Right, so for example, in this particular example, you see there is a green and red indicating where exactly are what is the measure of the activation which has happened till now. This basically tells you on how many of your people have actually activated the application and how many have not. Right, so once you have this particular access, now, if you want to know further down and drill down into the details, then what you need to do is click on by group, and you will be able to find the details of who are these non-active people and who are these active people we are talking about. Right? And again, similar way, there is a usage section to it where it tells you how regularly they're using it. And this is going to be the more relevant particular section for you, for all the managers to see how regularly people are using it. So we have defined usage on a 5-day basis. So what we define as usage is that if a person has not logged into the application in the last 5 days, then the person would fall into the red category, which is the not using category. So if for a person to be in the green category, that is the using category, the person needs to log into the app at least once in the last 5 days and attempt a question. So that's the definition of 5-day usage. A person has to mandatorily go into the application and attend the question to be in the green zone. So when you're seeing that, okay, 10 of my people are in the green zone and 5 of my people are not in the red zone, these 5 people who are in the red zone are the people who have not logged into the application even once in the last 5 days. And once again, just like the activation, when you scroll down this application, you will get another particular section called by group. And once you click on by group, it will tell you which particular people we are talking about, who are in the red and who are in the green category. There is also a blue category, which is what we call dormant category. Dormant category are people who have, there are two ways a person can be dormant. Number one is the person has mastered all the questions which were available to them till now. So it's an indication that this particular person does not have any new quizzes to consume. Or this person has not been assigned any quizzes at all. So it might be an indication for you to convey it to either Rachel or Daniel to inform them that, okay, this person has completed his set of quizzes or her set of quizzes, or this person has not been assigned any quiz. So please go ahead and assign the quiz. So that's the blue, the dormant part. And red and green, I have already explained what they are. And as I said, if you are in a if you want to go and drill down to each and every category, depending upon your hierarchy, your authority, your reporting structure, you can drill down to each and every level to see what are the activation or the usage categories, and drill down to each and every user to see who are these people we are talking about here. Right. So that's how the monitoring aspect of the mobile application works. Again, the activation category and the 5-day usage category. Now, I will quickly switch over to the web browser part to show you how we can actually go into the details, but that would require you to log into the web browser, which is the cocoblack.getrapl.com. So as I mentioned, there is one monitoring, there are two parts to the monitoring view. One is the mobile aspect and one is the web browser aspect, where you get to see the analytics in detail, right? So for you to do that, this is the URL, cocoblack.getrapl.com. Some of you might already be familiar with it. You might have logged in using it. So cocoblack.getrapl.com would be the web browser URL for all of you. Now, once you log into the cocoblack.getrapl.com URL, you're using the same credentials that you use for your mobile as well, and that allows you to log into this section, is this particular access. And once you get in, you have just like your mobile access, you will also have a home screen, which you will be able to, the learners part of the access, which you will be able to access to the web browser as well. In addition to what you have, if you have a monitoring access, you will also have this monitoring section at the top. Right, so this is for your, this is where the monitoring aspect of the web browser comes in. And once you click on the web browser, on the monitoring section, it will take you to the analytics part or the monitoring section of the application, where you can drill down to each and every detail of the progress of the learning journey. Again, the access which you will get will only reflect the people who are reporting to you, or the groups or subgroups or teams and sub-teams which are reporting to you. So we have,
Rahul,
yeah.
Hey Rahul, just in terms of the teams, who sets them up in RapL? Because mine, it's obviously incorrect and not updated. So who actually does that? Do we have to do that as managers, or is?
Yes. So we have been shared the hierarchy, the category, and the teams and sub teams, and accordingly to the data we have grouped it and given you monitoring access for you. So if it's incorrect, I would suggest that please, I would want you to share it with Eliza or Rachel, and we would correct that.
Yeah, I set them up based on the hierarchy. So you should have like the whole finance team reporting into you, which looks right on my end, Alex, but you're saying that's not what you can see?
No, all I've got is basically Robbie in 4 different groups. that's it. That's all I can see.
Oh, you should have Amy, Ben, Mark, Robbie, Thus.
Mm.
Okay, I'll work with Rahul on that because it looks like it should be right, but if it's not showing up right, there's obviously something going wrong. So
Eliza,
flagging.
I've got no team either, just to let you know.
No team,
Yeah.
even better.
While we're on the topic, me and Jody were just discussing it on the app. I was going to wait for Rahul to finish, but we're on the topic. I can't see any monitor or any teams or anything like that on my app or browser either.
Eliza, just from the retail, sorry, we're throwing a lot at you. From a retail team
okay.
perspective, I don't have any either, but I think it's probably worth just how we, if I can flick them all over what we're doing with our area managers as well for access for their groups, and then also overall access, but I don't have any access to that either.
Yeah, no, we've set, and sorry to digress everyone, but set Alex up so she has visibility over everyone in store, and did the same for the area managers, just so we don't have to cut things. Like you should be able to see each store team, and then each store manager should be able to see their team. Mark will get you added in, obviously, in your taking over in that role for that visibility. And then, yeah, with the support office, yeah, I'll have a look because I don't know why they're not showing up, because I can see live that they're kind of set up properly, but we'll work through that. If anyone else has an issue with what they're seeing, just flick me an email so we can keep track of it.
Yes, please. I would request everybody to just have a look at the monitoring aspect. If all the team members and the groups which are under you, are they reflecting correctly or not? So if it's not, please, I would request you to kind of send a mail to Eliza and we'll take care of it. All right. Okay.
And then just one more question from our side. Sorry,
no problem.
What we're looking at is based on a 5-day. What was it? A 5-day usage.
5 usage, yes.
We'll have team members that won't access it in 5 days because they don't necessarily work over that period, which would flag it wrong. So I guess the question is that able to be extended, that 5-day, for stores in particular, or is it a set number?
It's a set number because usually what we do is, since generally this is a regular usage app, we expect people to be using it on a daily basis, and usually it takes around 2 or 3 minutes of them to use it, right? So we don't want them to kind of spend 15-20 minutes on the application. So 2 or 3 minutes a day would be enough for them to spend on the application. So keeping that in mind, we have kept this 5-day usage as the definition, and yeah, we have kind of hard-coded it that way, that if a person is not using it in a 5-day period, it means it's a red flag. So that's how we have defined it.
Okay.
So these are just indicators, Mark, that we'll use for most clients. So it's more to just flag, like, if people are not using it. So most of your staff, I would assume, would be on shift within a 5-day period. Is that right?
Oh yeah, Oscar, maybe I'll have a chat with Eliza and them separate to this, because it's not so much the 5 days either. It's just the allocation of time of how that gets done. It's probably a bit deeper than just that. But what we don't want to do, just for the managers that are on the call, please do not force your team members to have to do this every day on their day off, because that'll just open up a can of worms. So please don't do that.
Agree. And look, yeah, of course, you don't want to force people to do it. But obviously, if they do it organically, that's fine.
I'll pick it up with Rochelle and them. That's cool.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for that. So I'll just proceed with the monitoring part, if there are no more questions.
Yeah.
All right, great. So yes, so what we have done here is we have clicked on monitor at the top. Again, this is the web browser access. You click on monitor. If any of the people here who don't have access to this, please let us know. We'll create that access for you. Because generally in the learners cases, what will appear is only these 4 sections. If anybody does not have the monitoring right, the monitoring section will not appear at all. So if that's a problem, if anybody is facing that problem, just let us know. If the monitoring access is not available to you, we'll make sure that we'll enable that for you. Right. So once you click on the monitoring screen, this is what comes to you. This is the summary page. which gives you a complete indication of how the project is going for your set of people. So at present, since I have a overall organization view, I get to see an overall picture. So I get to see that, okay, 58% of the people have activated, which comes to around 176 users, and 42% have not yet activated, which comes to around 130 users. So again, as per your hierarchy level, as per your authority and reporting structure, these will be applicable to you. So if you're leading a 5-member team or a 15-member team, the whole total will come to that particular number. So that's to be kept in mind. So that's completely will be customized for you. Again, the same similar what you actually see on a mobile screen in terms of usage, you can actually see that here as well, as a kind of summary. This is where you get to see an overall picture of what exactly is the content people are consuming at present. At present, we have 8 quizzes. It's actually should be 7. There is an extra one here which has not been enabled. So that's why it's indicating 8. And there is, since we don't have much, since we just started 2 weeks back or less than that, that is the reason we don't have much data to show here. But once people start using it, and once we start using other features like tests, polls, surveys, assignments, those are features we have not yet started using. Once they start using that, the numbers will come and you will get to see the details on that. Right, so coming to the activation part. So now if I want to see the details, let's say I want to see the activation details of my people and who are these people under me who are not activated or not activated. So so there's this section activation, usage, completion, and leaderboard. So I will quickly take you through these 4 sections to make you familiar with it. Activation, as I mentioned, it means whether your person has actually activated in your application or not. Here, what I'm seeing is an org level view. Of course, what you will be only looking at would be at your level. So you will only see your group. So let's say I drill down to one of the stores here, and let's say I get to see, okay, I check an Adelaide store. Now an Adelaide store, I want to know this, there are 13 users, right? So out of these 13 users, I want to see what is the activation, and I click on 13. So I see that these are the 3 people who are under this non-activated category. So here what you see as what comes to you right in front of you is the non-activation. So here are the 3 people who are in the non-activated category. Whereas if you click on activated, you'll get to see who are these people who have already activated themselves on RapL. So it's as simple as that. You will get to see which time and date they got themselves activated as well. So this is it. This is for the activation where you will be able to see under your group which people are activated and which people are not activated. So you get reviewed on that. Next is usage. Usage, again, as I said, we follow a definition of 5-day usage, rolling usage kind of definition, where people are in the red and yellow, are red and green are defined on the basis of how they have logged in, what is their regularity of logging in the last 5 days. So here you go. Here again, I'm looking at the Adelaide store. I click on 10 people who have activated. So this will only be available for people who have activated. And you get to see the details here of who are the people who are in the using category, who are the people who are in the not using category. So U means hue, and the green here indicates the people are using it. And N means here means they are not using it. Again, the definition would change. It's completely on the basis of the 5-day engagement status, and it keeps on rolling each day. So what you see each day would be a rolling engagement status for the last 5 days, right? So that kind of gives you an idea about what is exactly the engagement status of people using or not using it. And here is where you will also get to see what has been their 5-week trend of usage. Like, let's say for this particular person, Daphne Leah, she has not been using it in the last week, but now she is using it. So it kind of gives you a overall view of the trend. It's been all here is in blue and in D because it's only been 1 week or 10 days that we have launched, and hence they will start populating themselves once we move ahead. So this is basically the status. You also get to see if there are quizzes available to them, because if they are not available to them, then it will turn into D, the blue one, which is dormant, right? So this is where you get to see the usage. Activation is done, usage is done. I'll come to the completion part. This is where things get interesting. This is where you get to see a lot of details about how your team is doing for each topic, who are the people who are doing well, who are the people who are not doing well, and so on. So at present, we are live with these particular topics, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 topics which are live, and over the next few days, there will be 2 more topics which will go on live. So if you see, so what I did is you get to see the knowledge gaps here for each and every topic which has been recorded till now through all the people attempting this topic. So if you see, there are, if I look at sales channels, it will tell you a different story. If you're looking at our range or our values, it will tell you a different story. So there is a green, there is a yellow, and there is a red, right? So it means that, so I'll tell you what is the definition. What does green mean? Green means people, 38% of the people who have attempted our sales channels have actually been attempting it correctly and confidently. Whereas 40% who are in yellow are the attempts which are being made in the doubtful category, where people might be answering it correctly or incorrectly, but they are not too confident about it. So if you know about the application, it already records the confidence level, and this is where it manifests itself, where exactly we project the data here. And the red indicates people who are, or attempts which have been made incorrectly, but they have been attempted with high confidence. So these are people who are attempting questions with high confidence, but they're incorrect. Right. So if I see, so our sales channels has maximum knowledge cap. By knowledge cap, we mean the area which covers the yellow and the red part. So where our sales channels has around 62% knowledge cap, whereas overall strategy has around 45% knowledge cap. Whereas I think our range has the minimum knowledge cap, which is around 12%. Right. So here you get to see where exactly are people facing problems, where exactly are we going wrong. Now, let's say I want to dig down deeper. I click on our sales channels. I see that there is a problem with our sales channels, and I want to see which are the questions where people are actually facing problems in. Now, if you click on performance split, it will give you an ascending or descending view of the knowledge gaps. So here I see that these questions right at the top are the areas where people are mostly in the red and yellow. Whereas if you look at the bottom, these are questions, and please remember what we're looking at is only our sales channels topic. And under our sales channels, these are the areas where people are more in green and less in red and yellow. So when you're looking at this as manager, you know these are the areas where my people are facing the maximum problems. Either they're misinformed, so that is the reason they're answering it incorrectly and confidently, or they are doubtful, which means they are not very confident where they're giving the answers. Now, so this is where exactly you can see where exactly are the gaps. So when you click on it, there are 3 different sections which you get under completion. One is gap analysis, one is user performance, one is group performance. Gap analysis tells you the gaps in regards the topic or the questions which they're attempting, and where are they facing problems, where are they are facing relatively lesser problems. Let's say the end of the table here, that these are areas where people are more confident in. Now, if you want to see the same thing user-wise, what you do is you click on user performance. It will give you the same data from the point of view of the individual people who have attempted it. Right. So the last one was topic-wise knowledge gap. This was user-wise knowledge gap. And again, it's the same, our sales channels, which we are covering here. Now, if you do a performance split, if you click on performance split, it will do a reverse sorting and tell you who are the people who are doing well in it, who are the people who are not doing well in it.
Yeah. So Rahul, I just want to remind all the leaders. So obviously this is part of a 70-20-10 strategy. So part of the role of a leader is obviously to look at the data and see where there's an opportunity for improvement. Obviously, over time, the idea is to embed that knowledge. But if there's an area that your team, let's just go back to the overall analysis. So in terms of overall analysis, if there's a particular area that your team might need some coaching, or might need, you might need to do a toolbox talk with them. It might just be like a comms type issue that you want to communicate to your team. You want to reiterate it in your kind of team meeting, etc., etc. That's where this information comes in really useful from a group point of view, because you can quickly see like overall where your group is at. And then obviously then moving to an individual point of view to really have those individual coaching conversations as well. So yeah, I'll just let you continue, Rahul.
And Rahul, sorry, do you mind if we just flick back to just looking at group information, just because there's a lot of people's training info and, you know, we don't want to share everyone's information too broadly. So largely, if we could just look at group, and we understand that if we click to look at something by user, kind of how it looks, if that's all good.
All right. Is this one fine? Group-wise performance. If you want me to share this particular part.
No, I think that's all good. Thank you.
All right. Okay. I'll now go into the user part. So so just for your knowledge, gap analysis again is topic-wise knowledge gap analysis. User performance is where you get to see the user-wise performance, and group is where you get to see, depending upon the access you have, you get to see which particular stores or groups or subgroups are doing well or not doing so well in terms of our sales channels again. So again, we are only looking at our sales channels for the time being. And here you get to see who are the people. Again, if you click on performance split, you will get to see the people who are doing very well in it. So there is a lot of green here, which suggests that these are the people, these are the groups which are doing relatively much better. And if you go down or you just do a reverse split, these are the areas where I think for our sales channels, these are areas where people are maybe relatively less informed, or they have not been doing it very well. Right. So it gives you an overall picture in terms of the gap analysis, the user performance, and the group performance, in terms of understanding who are the people who are doing well, which groups are doing well, where are they going wrong, which are exactly the areas. So it allows you to go in deeper into it and see that. Also,
Rahul, just to reiterate, obviously, you know, it is to embed the knowledge over time. So initially there will be gaps, as in any training type scenario. So, you know, bear that in mind. The idea is you get that knowledge embedded over time. So this is a baseline, but then you'll see that knowledge increase over time. But if you can complement that by you know, on the job kind of coaching, etc., that really helps with that methodology. So, yeah.
Right. So yeah, as Oscar said, that if with the repetition technique, which is kind of which works, what happens is now, since it's just started, and what you are looking at is just the baseline data. What will happen over a period of time is when people start mastering it, you will get to see the number of percentage or the number of people here who are mastering it as well. So this will also give you a picture of, in spite of them having a knowledge gap, there are people who are eventually getting it mastered, right? So that will give an idea of what that is.
And it's not around testing people in a one-off instance. It's not about a one-off test of like, okay, well, you know, this is what you know, you don't know. That's not the point of RapL. The idea is to elevate people's knowledge over time. So, you know, please don't go to your team, oh, you're getting everything wrong. That's not the point of RapL. The point is to, over time, embed that knowledge. Obviously, over time, if they're still not getting it, then there's coaching opportunities there as well. So.
Thanks, Oscar. So again, two things which I'm left with. One is the library part. So here you see there are a whole lot of other features what you get to see also, but most of these features are not yet active, like tests and polls and surveys. And as and when they get active, you also get to see them. What I can show you at present is the library. So as you would know that there are a bunch of videos and PDFs which has been uploaded. And when you go into the library and you want to see who are these people who are looking at the library, which particular video is more popular than the others, which is getting more hits than the others, all the data will be available to you here. So you get to see the PDFs and the videos for each and every topics which has gone live, and you get to see which are the people who are viewing it, and you get to see how many times our average views are. So if there are people who are looking at it more than once, you will also get that data. And by the way, there is this export button here. So in case you need to know and get an Excel sheet down of the view, or want to share it with your team, you can just kind of download it here to get your overall idea about who are the people who are viewing it, how many times are they viewing it, and also on. And the same goes for the quizzes as well. So here is the export button for each and every view which we take. There are export buttons for users. There are export buttons for group for the users as well, and at the topic levels as well. So if you want to know the details of your groups on that particular topic, on how people have been doing and all that, in addition to the view which you are already getting real time, you can also get it in the Excel sheet. This is just for your information. Okay, so library part is covered, the completion part is covered, and I'm coming to the last part, which is the leaderboard. At present, we have not yet exactly enabled the leaderboard part. So as and when in the future it gets enabled, then you will also get to see the leaderboard for your team as and when people, what kind of ranks they are in. So at present, we have not enabled it, maybe in the future. So that is an option for you to remember. So as and when we kind of enable it in the future, this is where we get to see it. I think I have covered most of the cases, most of the areas has been covered. Any questions till now? Any doubts, clarifications? I'll be happy to answer.
I just wanted to specifically ask as well, team, do you understand, or do you want us to recover it all? Just shout out if anyone does, how we know if someone's certain, doubtful or misinformed, and how that information comes about. Does anyone want us to cover that, or you're pretty comfortable with that? Sounds like comfort. That's good.
Eliza, I'd only just ask, just maybe on the back end of this, that we get something we can drop into the hub or whatever it may be for any, just future reference on what all of that means, and that in some size, shape or form, if that's possible.
Yeah, so we've recorded this so that we can put that in there. There's also a user manual as well that we can share with you for that.
Perfect.
Yes, we can share that the deck with you, a user manual, which we can also make a part of the library if that's something which you want to kind of use it as a ready reckoner. In the library itself, we can just upload it there for you to have a look at it, or we can mail it to you as well, whichever way works for you. All right. Any questions? Anything? Any clarifications? Anything? I'll be happy to answer. Oscar, from your side, anything which you think needs to be covered, which I have missed?
Not from my side. I'm not sure if you want to add anything, Rochelle.
No, good from my end. Thanks. There's obviously a few bits and pieces for us to go back and review internally and tweak, and we'll work through that. And yeah, we'll work out next steps to make sure it's working well for everyone the way it needs to.
All right, brilliant. Well, thank you all for your time today. I appreciate it's Friday afternoon, and again,
Oscar, sorry, can I,
oh, yeah.
can I ask a question, please, Oscar?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
something that was asked by a team member. The significance of points, and I've noticed this as well. I know you get like a 5, whether right or wrong, and then a 10 when you master a topic.
Yeah. So at the moment,
some
people. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. The question that I got, some people were confused that, oh, I got the question wrong, but I still got the same amount of points as I get when I get a question right.
So the idea is to incentivize people to actually have a go and complete in a timely manner. So that's one of the ways that's incentivized. I'll get Rahul to explain the points in a second, but just at the moment, we're not doing like leaderboards or anything. So that's not going into a leaderboard at the moment. I know Rochelle is looking into that for the future. But normally the points will go into like a leaderboard, so that just encourages people to complete in a timely manner and obviously get it right, etc., etc. But I'll let Rahul explain the points in more detail.
All right. Okay. So I'll just quickly tell you how the points work, Ross. I'll again share my screen, and this is for everybody to again get an idea about. All right, so I'll just go into the home screen. Remember, this is something which you can also do the same thing, which will appear to you on your app as well. Okay, I think none of my quizzes have taken it yet, so that is the reason it's all have to be kind of gone through. Give me a second.
And I'll just comment on the leaderboard. We initially were going to turn the leaderboard on, but then we kind of decided last minute just to turn it off while people get used to the learning experience and get used to the platform and all the rest of it. So if the general consensus is that, you know, you think it would be better to have a leaderboard and that would be more engaging, then I'm happy to take that feedback. We're not married to it one way or the other, so it's just a matter of just trying to work out what people like and what they want to see and what's going to engage them. So if anyone's got any feedback on that,
could we do prizes or like the actual things they can sort of win essentially?
Yeah, and that's the intention as well, especially, you know, going into next year. We didn't want to impose too much right before Christmas on all the teams and too much change and all the rest of it. So we literally just wanted to introduce the opportunity to learn. But what we do plan to do long term is definitely introduce it as an award in Coco Heroes, which may be based on the amount of points that you get. And then the badges that you can get, that would be another recognition piece, like because in the back end you get different badges for mastering it or attempting a question. So all of that is still to come, and it's definitely on the radar, but we just weren't sure what the appetite was for how much to release right now just before Christmas. So we've kind of taken the softer approach, but we're definitely going to review all that first thing in the new year and start building it back into our reward and recognition programs as well. So to answer your question simply, then there would be like rewards attached to it. Yeah.
All right, I'll just share my screen and take you through that. So how the point system works, right? So there are two parts to how the point system works. So there is a 10 point and there is a question mastery point. And what we can do is we can actually upload this particular this chart on the library itself, so that anybody can just have a look at it if they want to have an understanding on how the points work, right? So that's something we can decide on doing, but just for the understanding on how the point works, there are attempt points and there are mastery points, right? So the attempt points are given for making sure that the people are doing it on a regular basis. And So as you see, if it's been attempted in the first 24 hours or attempting the question or release of questions, you get the maximum points, which is 5. And if it's done within 48 hours, it just decreases a bit, it comes down a bit, it's 3, then it comes to 1. And if you are more than 3 days late, then you don't get any attempt points. Now, these attempt points does not have any bearing with whether you're answering it incorrectly or correctly. It's just for making that, it's just been given rewarding, it's being rewarded for you to making that effort to actually doing it on a regular basis. You will, irrespective of whether you're getting your answers right or wrong, you will get these points. So when Ross mentioned that even for incorrect answers, you're getting those points, those are the attempt points they're getting. Right, so then comes the mastery point, and this is the point which actually gives rewards to the merit of the user. And now mastery, the definition of mastery, I just want to reiterate. It means over a period of time when you're answering a question correctly and confidently twice. So once you have answered a question correctly and confidently twice, that's what when we call that you have mastered that question, right? So now the minimum number of times in which a question can be mastered is 2 attempts, because it requires you to do it in twice, right? So that if you are doing it in a minimum amount of time, that is 2 attempts, you get the 5 points. If you're doing it in 3 attempts, you get lesser point. But if you're doing it in 4 or more attempts, you get 1 point. So anyways, you will get 1 point irrespective of if you are more than 4 or any more. If it's 10 attempts, you'll get 1 point irrespective of that. So that is the question mastery point. And there is the last category of point, which is the quiz mastery point. So let's say our brand or our sales channels has around 15 questions or 12 questions. So if all the 12 questions of that topic are mastered, eventually you will get 30 bonus points. That is as and when you complete or master the whole quiz, which means that mastering all the questions of the quiz, right? So at any point of time, the points which you are receiving would be a combination of these. So at any point of time, if when people are looking at the points increasing, it will be a combination of the 10 points, the question mastery point, and if applicable, the quiz mastery points. So this is how the points work. In case Rachel agrees, we can kind of upload that as a part of the library for people to get an understanding on the point system and how it works. It can act as a ready reckoner if they're confused on that part. We can do that.
Okay, are there any more questions before we wrap up? All right, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time. I do realise it's Friday, so, and again, for all those in Melbourne, happy Freedom Day. Enjoy your weekends. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
Thanks all. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.